Hey guys, and welcome to day 8 of the Oola Life Challenge with me, Linda May Myers. For the last 7 days, the last 7 videos rather, we have looked at the 7 key areas of life, the 7 F's, and we've made strides to make positive changes in those areas. But as we venture into the next section of this challenge, my prayer is that you will understand who God has created you to be and know that when we are on the path that He has created for us, all things are possible. Next on our agenda, we are going to deal with the traits that we call OolaBlockers. Now, blockers are simply the things that get between you and your dreams. Remember, we're on our path. Blockers hit us right dead in the center. And sometimes actually blockers keep us from getting out of the gate. So if you've not written down any dreams, anything where you want to be at the end of this or where you want to be working towards the end of this, take time to write down one, okay? Don't wait another second. Put pen to paper and write down one goal or one dream that you would like to work towards, okay? Now, we can overcome an Oola blocker through a 3-step process called ready, set, go. The first and most common Oola blocker is fear, and that's what we're going to tackle today. Fear is a doozy. This is something that every single person on the planet deals with at one time or another. So, is fear the one thing that is stopping you from getting your Oola life? Today, we want to confront that fear. We're going to practice the ready, set, go method. We want to visualize a big dream that evokes fear. What is it for you? We're going to call it out. I'm afraid of. Like, what are you afraid of? What's keeping you from running towards that dream? We're going to put fear in its place by imagining what life will look like if you give into that fear. Will you feel better about yourself or worse? Are you stronger or weaker, empowered or defeated, right? If you give into that fear, how is that going to affect you? Next, we're going to visualize how you would feel if you break through that fear. Again, how do you feel now? Better or worse? Stronger, weaker, defeated? I don't think so, right? All right, then we're going to identify action steps required. We're going to find our 20 seconds of courage and push through that fear. All right, so here's an example. Ready? I have a dream of starting my own nonprofit, and the thought of pursuing it creates fear in me. So that's my ready, that's my step 1. Set, step 2. If I give into this fear, my purpose will not be fulfilled, and I will not have the joy I feel if I were to move forward, right? If I break through this fear, I know that I can do what I'm called to do, right? So that's set. We're going to identify how we feel, how we would feel if we let this fear stop us. And then we're going to identify how we would feel if we break through that fear. Got it? That's set. Now the third step is go. For this example, say research and create a plan to start my nonprofit and take the first step, action steps, right? As you do this, you'll realize that the fear isn't the absence of faith, but it's saying, I trust God with my fears, and I have the faith to live a life I was designed for, right? The Oola model for fear is feel it and do it anyway, right? We're going to feel the fear because nothing is going to keep us from ever feeling fear again, right? It's part of who we are. It's natural, right? But the difference between living a life you were meant to live and letting fear keep you from doing that is that you're going to feel the fear, you push it aside, and you do it anyway, right? Okay. So let's see, I lost where was my notes. All right, for most people, this is the greatest obstacle in the pursuit of Oola, right? Fear can get in the way of you getting the life you wanted in 2 ways. So there's 2 ways that fear can actually block you. One is what we've talked about. Unrealistic fear can paralyze you and prevent you from taking actions that will move you towards your Oola life, right? Now the second side is the complete opposite, and that is a complete disregard of fear, okay? We all know people like that, right? I think that kind of changes, especially when you become a parent. At least for me, it did. But a complete disregard of fear can also expose you to risks that can take you down. So if you don't have any regard and you just move straight forward without thinking and planning, that can be the opposite, right? But Eleanor Roosevelt once said, do one thing every day that scares you. And I love that because without that, we're not growing, right? We're not moving towards our Oola life. But because of describe, we always have to make sure we have our fear in balance, which I think, at least for me, it's more the earlier. All right, so where are you? Where are you relative to fear? Is fear preventing you from taking the action required to balance and grow your life? Are you stuck in a cycle of analysis paralysis where all you can do is focus on what can go wrong if you choose to act? Right? I know another thing that I deal with is not always analysis paralysis of fear, but just I get stuck in that mode of learning and not doing. Oh, well, we're going to learn about, raising meat chickens. We're going to learn about growing our business. We're going to learn about, I don't know, making your husband's favorite dish from scratch. We're going to learn about all these things, but we never actually implement them because what happens if we fail, right? That's a big fear, is fear of failure. So we need to push through that fear and do the things anyway. All right. So today's assignment is, what are you afraid of? What is keeping you from doing the things you want to do? The things you are called to do. So today you're going to start identifying the fears that keep you from moving forward towards your Oola life, right? We're going to use the method of ready, set, go to push through them. Now, this may take more than one shot at it because fear is an ugly thing. It's a hard one to beat, but it can be beaten. It will continue to raise its head, but I know you are strong enough to feel the fear and do it anyway, right? So I will see you tomorrow when we're going to tackle the next OolaBlocker, which is guilt.